Isolation Sets Me Free by JackT. I feel the breeze as I climb up the massive hill. I hear the crunch of the gravel as I climb up the hill. I feel the sun baking my back and my legs in warmth. I hear the roar like a lion of the car behind me. I hear the whistle of the wind like a kettle boiling in my ear. I hear the click of the cassette when I stop pedaling. I hear the roar of the tires making contact with the tarmac. The soothing hum of the tires rotating against the road. Isolation sets me free. Through my life, I've had many adventures and experiences while cycling. One of that sticks out the most to me was a ride that my uncle and I just did this past summer to Rutland Waters and back. My uncle and I got up at around 6 to adjust the bikes for the ride. The plan was for us to ride to Rutland and meet my cousin and brother. My uncle and I left at 7. The first place that we stopped to take pictures was at Castle Gardens. We then cycled on to the Richard III exhibit that was being filmed for the grand opening a couple days later. After stopping at the Richard III exhibit, we cycled through the main part of Leicester and into the countryside. In the countryside, we encountered sheep, cows, and really big tractors. In the countryside, we stopped for another picture in the village of Keyham. After cycling up some really big hills, we stopped for some water at the bottom of one of the hills. Everything was green for mile after mile. This amazed me because back in California, during the summertime, everything is dried up, wilted, and brown. There was also a blue cloudless sky and trees as far as the eye could see. After climbing up a couple more huge slopes, we stopped for another water break next to the lake. The water looked cool enough to take a nice swim and dip my feet in. The sun shining on the lake made it look as if it were made of liquid silver. After stopping, the route that the GPS had plotted was very well directed. So we were lost for a couple of minutes. We first went right like the GPS said, and the second time we tried to go the other direction until we figured out that the correct way to go was through a parking lot and into a park. After riding through the park, we then biked through a residential area and then dismounted. Riding for a few miles, intersecting a busy road, we spotted a sign for Rutland Waters. We then started to climb up the hill closer and closer to the sign. We would then get to the sign and we stopped to take a picture. We then raced down the hill into a forest. As it suddenly opened, we were back into the bright light of the afternoon. We then trekked up one more hill. To get to the best view. Seeing the crystal blue waters skimming the horizon, finally emerged. We then propped up the bikes near a tree and lay back under the shade of the tree, relieved but sad that the journey was over. After enjoying the sun, picnic and a look around Rutland Waters bike shop, I was refueled and ready for the ride back. After cycling up the hill into the forest and then back through the slope past the entrance sign, after heading down the same route that the other leg, we took a different route in which we descended some big hills. On one of the last hills before the flats, we sped down a hill going around 40-50 miles an hour, and we came around a bend and there were 2 women on horses. We sped past them, giving them plenty of space so that we wouldn't scare the horses. After a couple of seconds, I hear one of the ladies on the horse shout, "You could have killed yourself riding that fast past us." After talking to the woman for a few minutes, we were on our way again. My uncle and I agreed that we gave the women on the horses a sufficient amount of room and that the lady overreacted. But after 20 minutes of riding, the mood lifted after we stopped for the last time for a drink at the local corner shop. This story is also important to me because it was not only a fun time and memorable experience. Cycling and being with my family helps me forget all my worries, and it's a way for me to relax. To me, the moral of the story is you've got to let go even when there's a negative mood. As the saying says, you've got to forgive to forget. The wheel of the bike goes around in a circle. You have to keep on moving forward and not let people and situations bring you down. Through my story, I gave little hints about my personality. An example of this would be when the lady is frustrated at us. The mood was dampened, but after a while you've got to let go and move on. This story is also important to me because it was not only a fun time and memorable experience. Cycling and being with my family helps me forget all my worries, and it's a way for me to relax. To me, the moral of the story is you've got to let go even when there's a negative mood. As the saying says, you've got to forgive to forget. The wheel of the bike goes around in a circle. You have to keep on moving forward and not let people and situations bring you down. Through my story, I gave little hints about my personality. An example of this would be when the lady is frustrated at us. The mood was dampened, but after a while you've got to let go and move on.